Kaugnay ng pangunguha ng giant clams o taklobo ng mga Chino sa Panatag Shoal, makakapanayam natin for the record si GMA resident analyst Richard Heydarian. Magandang umaga sa inyo, Richard.
Good morning, Kara.
Okay, is this the first time na ginawa ito ng China na kumuha ng mga giant clams doon, at least doon sa Scarborough Shoal, o matagal na nila itong ginagawa?
Alam mo, Kara, what's surprising is as if surprised yung ating government. This has been going on for quite a long time. No? So since June 2012, after the failed mutual disengagement plan, ito nga, may record ang China na niloloko tayo. They give us a promise and they do something opposite. So noong 2012, nagkaroon ng standoff between Gregorio del Pilar and an armada of Chinese vessels. Again, over yung mga clam issues na yan. Ang agreement po natin dyan is ilalabas po natin yung Gregorio del Pilar, ilalabas nila yung armada nila, hindi po nila ginawa. So niloko po tayo. That's why we took China to international court. And then 2017, November, 1 month after pumunta si Pangulong Duterte sa China, at of course sabi niya, I will align with you guys and I'll separate from US, nangakong China na pagbigyan yung ating mangingisda na pumasok dun sa lagoon na yan, no? Sa loob ng lagoon ng Scarborough.
Pero kumukuha pa rin ba sila ng taklobo?
But the following year, we have satellite imagery, no, sa AMTI, among others, na pinapakita clearly yung ginagawa ng mga Chinese is ina-allow yung kanilang bigger fishing vessels and all, na talagang i-harvest niyan, no? I think last year, medyo nag-slow down ng China, and then ngayon naman bumabalik ulit, no? Now, I don't know what's exactly happening here, but what's very clear here is that meron ng precedents ng China na nag-harvest all the way, and then pinapasok lang yung ating mangingisda pag parang paubos na, no?
Okay.
The other thing that is worrying me, Kara, hindi masyadong kinover dito, but I got this from my interaction with the Chinese media, is may mga eksperto sa China na related sa government ay nagpo-propose na ganito, ngayon, pagbigyan natin yung mga Filipino ng mangingisda, pumasok sa lagoon sa Scarborough kasi inuubos na naman nila.
Yeah.
And then, let's push for a compromise dyan sa paligid ng Pag-asa kung saan may isa pang armada ng mga Chinese, no? 275 vessels since January involved. At share naman natin yung mga fishery resources dyan. So parang, ang situation...
So giving the Filipinos the crumbs, kumbaga.
Well, I mean, it's more like, what is mine, what is yours, we share, right? At ang treatment nila dito is parang pinagbibigyan tayo sa Scarborough Shoal, when in fact, this is not even theirs to begin with. No?
Okay.
This is part of our national territory. At klaro yung arbitration award na yung paligid ng Scarborough Shoal is common fishing ground, not for a single country.
Alright. So, noong 2012, nagsimula na ang China na manguha nitong mga giant clams. Ang naging response ng previous administration is to take them to court.
And stand up to China.
At nagkaroon ng standoff doon mismo. Parang, kumbaga, lalabanan namin para maprotektahan namin kung ano yung amin. Now, this administration nag-file ng diplomatic protest. Is that enough?
No. The thing is this, Kara, no? President Duterte will go to China very soon for the 4th time in only 3 years.
Yeah.
0 pa yung visit niya sa US, no? So sana this time, our president will make it clear sa China na kung tuloy-tuloy yung ginagawa nila ngayon sa Panatag Shoal, which is niloko tayo, inuubos nila yung mga clams sa loob, hindi nila pinagbibigyan yung ating mangingisda na pumasok, hinaharas po yung ating mangingisda, nagkakaroon ng forced barter deal, sigarilyo kapalit ng lapo-lapo, and then ito pa nga, may armada ng Chinese vessels na sinisurround yung Sandy Cay at saka Pag-asa. Kung tuloy-tuloy ito, we have 2 options. First, as suggested by Malacanang earlier this month, we can take the case to the United Nations Security Council. No, of course, i-veto ng China yan, pero ma-embarrass pa rin ng China yan. We can even take it to the United Nations General Assembly, pwede magkakaroon ng resolution dyan to condemn China. That's possible. In fact, the very act of that pwede mag-embarrass sa China because China wants to be a leader, to be respected, no? At they care about it. At pangalawa, we have an option dito with the US, no? Na pagbigyan natin sila ng more access doon sa mga bases na malapit. So, kumbaga
tumawag na tayo ng tulong mula sa ating mga allies.
Kasi, Kara, no? The other thing that the Aquino administration did was nag-negotiate tayo ng Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement kung saan dapat binigyan natin ng Americans yung kapasidad na mag-preposition ng mga weapons and equipments sa Bautista Air Base na malapit sa Calayan Group of Islands at sa Basa Air Base na malapit sa Panatag Shoal. Sabi ni Pangulong Duterte, no, let's not do that. Let's not provoke China. Magpakapait tayo sa China. He loves China. He needs China. But there's no evidence to suggest na yung ganitong approach ni Pangulong Duterte, yung quiescent approach niya, ay gumagana. So I think we have to make it very clear to China is, if tuloy-tuloy yung pangbubuli niyo sa amin, tuloy-tuloy yung violation niyo sa international law at yung karapatan ng Pilipinas, we also have an option to bring the Americans in. At let's be very clear, for the first time in history, sabi ng United States Secretary of State, si Mike Pompeo, na nandito sa ng March 1 na the Mutual Defense Treaty will cover the Philippines sa South China Sea if inatake yung ating vessels, yung ating personnel, or aircrafts. No?
Pero do
So
you think-
this is an America that is more committed to us, and this is an America that we can leverage na mag-push back sa China.
Pero at the rate things are going, yes, medyo mas matapang ngayon ang mga pananalita ng Malacanang tungkol dito sa isyong ito as far as China is concerned. Pero do you see it coming na gagawin ito ni Pangulong Duterte na either tatakbo sa United Nations, hihingi ng tulong sa ating mga allies, gagamitin yung Mutual Defense Treaty, o mukhang hindi?
Well, of course, we have an election, no? So, meron insentibo ang administration natin to put a tough approach forward. But I'm also sure that may mga tao sa loob ng administration, may mga cabinet members na hindi masyadong natutuwa sa situation. So,
Yeah.
I expect some back and forth between the president and some of his cabinet members. And nakikita natin, some of the cabinet members, like Foreign Secretary Todor, is already taking a tough line on his own, no?
Right,
Because these people don't want to go down in history, no? As people who oversaw yung pagwala ng ating karapatan and territorial rights, no? So there are people also in the administration who are fighting the good fight. Ang issue pa rin dito is the president is the chief architect of the Philippine foreign policy at pupunta sa China soon. He has to make the red lines clear.
Yeah.
If lalabag ang China sa red lines over and over again, there has to be consequences. Otherwise, you're just encouraging China to
Okay.
have a bad behavior.
Nasabi mo na rin si Foreign Affairs Secretary Locsin sa isang tweet nga ni Foreign Affairs Secretary Teddy Locsin, sinabi niyang walang nakikipagdigmaan dahil lang sa giant clams. Pagkain lang naman daw kasi ito at sabi niya hindi na dapat pinalalaki pa daw ang issue.
Well, the harvesting itself is a violation of our sovereign rights. So hindi yung issue yung pagkain lang, no? It's like, what if isang bansa nagpadala ng military niya sa loob ng Manila and then kinuha niya yung food? So ang issue dito is bayaran nila yung food or yung issue is violation ng
At
ating
hindi
sovereignty?
basta-basta, mga kapuso, hindi po basta-bastang pagkain yung giant
Yes,
clams.
exactly.
This has been an endangered species
Yes.
na pinagsikapan ng mga
Marine scientists,
marine scientists na paramihin ulit in an island in
Right.
Bolinao, Pangasinan and other places in the Philippines. Tapos, if we will just allow people to wipe it out, babalik
Kaya
na
nga
naman
may
sa
kaso
endangered
si
species
Foreign
list.
Secretary De La Rosario at saka Ombudsman Conchita Morales no, sa ICC, no, na they're accusing China of crimes against humanity dahil sinisira yung ecological basis ng fishery resources na napaka-central doon sa livelihood, kabuhayan na ating mangingisda. So tens of thousands of Filipino fishermen are gonna suffer because of this and millions of Filipinos will suffer from lack of food security kung tuloy-tuloy pa rin yung ginagawa ng China in terms of damaging the coral reefs and the ecosystem there. With the reclamation activities, with this kind of massive harvesting at yung militarization of disputes, which is preventing us to access yung mga ating exclusive economic zone. I think it's time for the President Duterte to recalibrate his policy. Maybe China is a friend of President Duterte, but clearly they're not a friend of Filipino people with these actions.
Maraming salamat sa iyo, GMA Resident Analyst Richard Heydarian.